Good evening. Thank you very much for joining us for this edition of Channel One News Hour. It has been a very busy day today. The country is fighting the war against COVID-19. The Ministry of Health is warning that the curve is not yet at that point where Kenyan can say that we are moving towards flattening it. Of course, you are still reminded to maintain the highest levels of personal hygiene, wash your hands, sanitize, and if possible, keep that safe social distancing. Thank you very much for joining us live from the broadcasting house in Nairobi. My name is Edward Kabasa. Here are the highlights. Ministry of Health adopting a new approach in contact tracing in the war against COVID-19 as fatalities rise to 506. Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i, Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai, and the Director of Criminal Investigations George Kinoti appear before the Senate's National Security Committee to explain Monday's arrest of 3 senators. And government effects administrative changes in the State Department of Interior and Citizen Services. Once again, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Our sign language interpreter is Byron Abuli. The Ministry of Health is adopting a new approach in contact tracing in the war against COVID-19. Chief Administrative Secretary Dr. Mercy Mwangangi says that with the infection now having taken root in the community, research will have to be used in targeting those to be subjected to test. She spoke as Kenya registered 379 new cases and 19 patients succumbed to the disease.
Challenges in contact tracing of suspected COVID-19 cases has prompted new approaches in a bid to flatten the curve of infection.
Contact tracing, as we did in the beginning, unfortunately is not feasible, and this is the same experience that different countries are having. Africa CDC informs us that perhaps when it comes to contact tracing, when you've established community transmission, you need to relook at your approach because it will be futile. Because the disease is within the community, it has already spread, and contact tracing then, and in terms of its merits, becomes a little bit weaker.
Chief Administrative Secretary in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Mercy Mwangangi, however, said the shortage of reagents has been addressed and hence testing capacities will be revamped.
We are not flattening the curve. According to our statistics, our daily summary statistics, our research when it comes to prevalence of this disease, we are well aware that our curve has not yet flattened. Yes, there are challenges when it comes to the daily tests that we're doing. We are experiencing, as we've mentioned, disruptions in terms of reagents, being able to get those supply chains sorted. But this is something that we are managing. Camry next week will actually be getting a batch of reagents coming in. And so this situation will normalize by next week.
The Minister of Health is cautioning of an anticipated upward trend in coronavirus cases as Kenya's coronavirus caseload rose to 31,015 after 379 more people tested positive in the last 24 hours from a sample size of 3,867.
We've now established what is known as community transmission. And what this means is that the virus has spread within our communities to the extent where if you are to follow one case within the community, you may not be able to determine a true exposure of that case.
Nairobi continues to take the lead with a cumulative sample size of 18,208. Kiambu comes second with 2,288. Mombasa has 2,234 cases. Kajiado 1,650. Machakos 1,078. Busia 653. Uasin Gishu 407. Migori 361. Nyeri 224. And Garissa 198 cases. 19 more people succumbed to the disease, raising the death toll to 506. One person is said to have died at home, while the other 18 had comorbidity.
Today, we have 244 patients that have recovered from the disease, bringing the total number of recoveries to 17,612. And from the discharge, 76 were from various facilities, whereas 168 were from the home-based care program.
The Ministry of Health advises Kenyans to brace themselves for a long battle with COVID-19 disease, as the disease has already established itself within communities, and this will require adjusting to the new normal, which means that Kenyans will have to continue wearing of masks, staying at home and washing hands regularly. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News, Nairobi.
Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has dismissed calls to reopen schools in September to enable Standard 8 and Form 4 candidates sit for their national examinations. Professor Magoha says the resumption of physical classes before COVID-19 is brought under control will endanger the lives of learners. The Education Cabinet Secretary also clarified the decision to reopen schools in January next year is not cast in stone and can change subject to advice from experts.
Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha maintains schools will be reopened in January 2021 unless the head of state decides otherwise.
That answer and decision will be made only by one person who is elected by everybody, who will take the risk. Are we together here? Because he is fully in charge. If all the institutions are ready, do we then decide to open because people are saying so? His Excellency the President must then decide himself whether he can take the risk.
According to Professor Magoha, uncalculated plans to resume physical learning in schools will catalyze the spread of COVID-19 among children.
The right to life and the right to education, which one is more important? If the right to life is more important, then ignore all the noise and the hula balloons you are listening to. Because every Kenyan child has a right to live. Yes. If we are to open schools as before we are prepared, before the disease comes down and is controlled, a number of children are going to die. Whose children are these that you want to sacrifice?
The Cabinet Secretary urged Kenyans to support the community teaching initiative introduced by the government aimed at keeping learners productively engaged. Magoha spoke at the Siaya Institute of Technology in Siaya Town on Wednesday during a tour to gauge the preparedness of the institution for resumption of learning. Meanwhile, the Kenya Private Schools Association has partnered with Absa Bank to accelerate the adoption of virtual learning in private primary and secondary schools across the country. The initiative, dubbed Masomo Iendelee Linda Mwalimu, also aims at boosting the financial position and sustainability of schools, while at the same time cushioning teachers during the difficult economic times. Kamche Menza for Channel 1 News.
To Parliament now, where Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i on Wednesday appeared before the Senate's National Security Committee to explain the circumstances that led to the arrest of 3 senators on Monday. The meeting, which was attended by Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai and the Director of Criminal Investigations George Kinoti, was however close to the public and the media. Matiang'i was summoned by the Senate following an outcry by lawmakers that the arrest of the 3 senators was meant to freeze them out of the vote on the contentious division of revenue formula. Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i, Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai, and the Director of Criminal Investigations George Kinoti on Wednesday summoned by the Senate to explain Monday's arrest of 3 lawmakers. The media was however barred from the meeting, whose report is expected to be tabled in the Senate next week. Senators have alleged that the arrest of the 3 legislators was an engineered move to deny them the right to vote on the contentious third basis for revenue sharing among the county governments.
I want to tell these people there is no need of all this.
Bomet Senator Christopher Langat, Samburu's Stephen Lelegwe and Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala were arrested by police in a dramatic fashion on Monday.
To subvert the, Mr. Speaker, sovereign right of the people of Kenya under Article 1 of the Constitution that was donated to Senator Malala, Senator Langat, Senator Lelegwe to come and exercise on the floor of this House. And for any colleague in this House to support that process, Mr. Speaker, it will be a pity.
The arrest of the 3 lawmakers was met with protests both in the Senate and Mumias, as well as condemnation by the Deputy President and ODM Chief Raila Odinga. The senators who are currently on recess, are at the moment engaged in negotiations aimed at formulating a win-win formula.
So we really would want to encourage Senate ili sasa ikifika next week Tuesday wawe na solution ili tupate pesa tuweze kulipa mishahara.
Governor James Nyoro said service delivery in counties risk grinding to a halt and that county preparedness was highly dependent on timely disbursement of budgetary allocation to the devolved units. Now, the government has undertaken a number of changes in the State Department of Interior and Citizen Services. In the changes announced by Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i, Nyanza Regional Commissioner James Kianda moves to Nairobi to take over from Wilson Jega, who has been moved to the office of the President. The new changes also saw Magu Mutindika appointed as Regional Commissioner, Nyanza Region, and Esther Maina as Regional Commissioner, Western Region.
Several regional commissioners and county commissioners have been transferred to new station in changes made on Wednesday. Nairobi Regional Commissioner Wilson Jega and Western Regional Commissioner Ann Ngetich moved to the office of the President headquarters. Regional commissioners who have been moved from their current postings include James Kianda, who now moves from Nyanza Region to Nairobi Region to replace Wilson Jega, who has been appointed as the Secretary Internal Security at the Interior Ministry. Magu Mutindika has been appointed Regional Commissioner Nyanza Region and Esther Maina as the new Regional Commissioner Western Region. Moffat Kangi has been appointed the Principal Administrative Secretary at the Ministry of Interior and Coordination of National Government. Among those affected in the transfer of county commissioners include Onesmus Yadha, who has been moved from Mandera County to Mombasa County, Joshua Nkanatha, who has been moved from Kajiado County to Marsabit County, Evan Sachoki, who has been moved from Marsabit County to Kajiado County, Michael N. Tialal, who has been moved from Siaya County to Garissa County, among others. In the appointment of county commissioners, Frederick Ndunga has been appointed as County Commissioner Machakos County, Paul Rotich as County Commissioner Siaya County, Mathias Mbogai Rioba as County Commissioner Tana River County, Moses K. Lilan as County Commissioner Homa Bay County, Benson David Leparmojo as County Commissioner Nyandarua County, and Josephine Ouko as County Commissioner Bomet County. Interior CS have also transferred to various stations across the country 98 Deputy County Commissioners and appointed 84 new Deputy County Commissioners in the changes that take effect immediately. Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News.
Now, the fraud case against former Garsen Member of Parliament Damson Mungatana and his business associate Collins Owero will continue to full trial after Kibra Chief Magistrate Abdul Kadir Lerot rejected a bid by the two to settle the matter out of court. Mungatana and Owero are out on a cash bail of 200,000 shillings after denying charges of forgery and obtaining money by false pretense. The case will be mentioned on September 10th this year.
Former Garsen MP Danson Mungatana and his associate Collins Owero will now answer to 15 fraud charges after the court dismissed an application to allow the two settle the matter with the plaintiffs out of court. Despite an application by their lawyers, Kibera Chief Magistrate Abdikadir Lorot ruled that the state was also a complainant in the case.
Article 157 of the Constitution, that the Director of Public Prosecution is granted exclusive powers to prosecute, and in the discharge of that mandate and function, the DPP acts without direction or control from any quarters.
According to the charge sheet, the accused on diverse dates between July the 13th and August 11, 2020, conspired to defraud and obtain 930,000 shillings from Anne Wairimu Thumi by pretending they could assist her win a tender of 70 million shillings to supply food and construction materials to the Department of Defense. They are also facing charges of issuing fake documents purporting to be genuine letters of acknowledgement for expression of interest from the Ministry of Defense. Elsewhere, a police officer has been charged with stealing shoes from the Kenya Police Service store. It is alleged that Dennis Onyango broke into the store and stole 1,826 pairs of men's ankle-high boots and 398 pairs of ladies' ankle-high boots valued at 6,454,342 million shillings. He was released on a cash bail of 300,000 shillings with the case set for mention on September the 10th, 2020. For Channel 1 News, I'm Ben Troenjoe.
Thank you, Ben Troenjoe, for that report. We are taking a short break. We'll be back with more news.
You may be in the pit. You do not see how you could get out. But the good news is that you do not have to get by yourself. The Most High God is about to lift you out. He's about to turn the medical report. He's about to free you. He's about to open new doors, bringing new opportunities, new relationships.
Kupata The Pit, bonyeza star 811 star 967 hash. Bonyeza star 811 star 967 hash.
On the next episode of Ashoka.
The name of the boy born to Queen Dharma.
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema, ukiletewa naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu. Usikose.
Welcome back to the program. Community-based learning has officially kicked off in Mandera County as a means of engaging learners in the region during the current period of COVID-19 pandemic. Mandera East Sub-County Teachers Service Commission Director Hussein Hassan says the commission has stationed 960 teachers for the program in the entire county.
Speaking during the opening of Komoro Community-Based Learning, Mandera East Sub-County TSC Director Hussein Hassan said the government has engaged area chiefs and community policing elders to identify students from both primary and secondary learning institutions to be engaged in community-based learning.
We managed to get 15 learners in Komoro Community-Based Learning Center 1. So we have 15 learners here. They were brought by the chiefs together with the Nyumbakumi. We discussed with them. They are the ones who mobilized, and majorly they will be taught on life skills, issues of gardening, weeding. That is the major things. And then they can be given some basic skills of reading.
With Komoro Community-Based Learning Center so far registering 15 students, Hassan says more centers will be opened across Mandera County as 960 teachers are set to oversee the program.
In Mandera East, we have registered 290 teachers, 118 of them in the secondary school, and the rest in primary schools. We have distributed the teachers into locations where they are based. Now, in Mandera Central Division, we have 9 locations. The teachers were distributed into the learning into the locations.
In the program, all teachers under TSC are required to undertake the community-based learning without charging parents even a single coin. The program by the Teacher Service Commission took effect on 12th this month and has been applauded for its role in curbing awful incidences being reported among the school-going children.
We have to start community-based education, and also we start distant learning, e-learning, digital learning, so that their education, we should now start thinking in a big way. What we want to do 21, 22, we should start sitting and talking and thinking that way.
KCS Member of Parliament Swarap Mishra, while rolling out development projects in his constituency, urged the government to come up with more alternative means that will address the challenge of idleness among most students. However, for John Osoro, a parent in Manga Ward, Nyamira County, engaging his school-going children in manual work ensures that they are productive and physically active during the current period of COVID-19 pandemic.
Changamoto ni mingi sana wasasi wanapata na watoto wao. Mostly wasasi wengi hatuko tunajua tabia ya watoto wetu. But this is the time tumejua watoto wetu, tumejua tabia ya watoto wetu. So ndio unaona kama mimi nimeengage na vijana wangu tusaidiane Kama saa hivi nilikuwa namwambia mtu mmoja tunalipa 400, saa hii nimesave. Saa hivi tuko watatu na mimi ni wanne. Tumesave 2000.
In what has been replicated by other parents in the area, John Osoro runs his bricks business daily at Kianyatuanga village along Kisii-Nyamira Highway, accompanied by his sons Maki Osoro, who is a university student, and Andrew Osoro, a Form 4 student. Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News.
Public health services in Homa Bay County have been paralyzed for a third day after healthcare workers downed their tools, demanding their unpaid salaries and better working environment. The medics are also lamenting the insufficient supply of personal protective equipment, which they claim is exposing them to the dangers of COVID-19.
The best thing that the county government could do is to pay us our salaries and all that is due to us. It is unfortunate that all these workers you see here do not even have NHIF cover.
The ICU they are talking about is a scarecrow. The blood bank they are talking about is a scarecrow. The oxygen plant is just there in words. The bed capacities they are talking about, we are wondering which country are they?
Even if we will finish this salary parade and go back to work because of payment of salaries, we must still have a talk on our safety as health workers to continue working in the COVID pandemic.
Elsewhere, drama ensued in Nairobi's KAMULU area as two rival youth groups engaged the police in running battles. The youth have been fighting over sand offloading zones for some time now. The morning incident left 3 people nursing serious injuries.
It was every man for himself along the Kangundo Highway near KAMULU 26 area after 2 rival youth groups fought for sand offloading zones. Police had a rough time with the youth who played cat and mouse games as they engaged the law enforcers in running battles. The youth barricaded the Kangundo road with heaps of soil and lit bonfires, disrupting traffic along the busy road for hours. The 2 rival groups have been fighting for offloading zones for a while now.
Vile imefanyika, vijana wamekuja na mapikipiki kutoka KAMULU. Wakamwaga hapa, wamekatakata watu, wameingia kwa mabiashara za watu, wameharibu na wakatoka wakaenda.
Tunaomba ya kwamba kama serikali ihusike, kuanzia kwa mkubwa wa KAMULU hadi mdogo, wote wabadilishwe. Hata sisi tunajua kuna askari tangu tukuje huku, kuna askari wanakuwa KAMULU mpaka leo wako huko wanatuhangaisha.
Wednesday morning, the incident turned tragic after what was believed to be a retaliatory attack left 3 people seriously injured. Confirming the incident, Area OCPD Kayole Division Isaac Turanera said they are aware of the conflicts between the groups.
Tumepata ripoti ya kwamba hii barabara ya kutoka Nairobi kwenda Kangundo area KAMULU ilikuwa imeanza kufungwa na vijana ambaye walikuwa na shoshania dominance ya barabara kuhusu kuweka mchanga na kutoa kwa marori. Hatuwezi ruhusu barabara ifungwe ambayo inatumika kwa kila mtu, na hiyo ni kukosa, ni kuvunja sheria. Kwa hivyo tumeweza kufika na tumeweza kufungua barabara na traffic imeweza kuresume, na pia wale viongozi wao wachache viongozi wao ambao walikuwa wanaongoza tumeweza kukamata na watafikishwa kotini. Kwa hivyo naonya hao vijana ambao wamezoea kuvunja sheria kwamba serikali itawaachilia.
According to police, a similar incident a while ago left several fatalities in the same area. Ruth Wamboi for Channel 1 News.
A lobby group calling itself the Nairobi Accountability Forum has raised concerns over the management of the city. Representatives from the Youth Congress, Muungano wa Wanavijiji and Haki Jamii claim the lack of transparency in the working relationship between the county government of Nairobi and the Nairobi Metropolitan Services is undermining service delivery.
The Nairobi Accountability Forum is calling for public engagement on development issues, saying continued leadership wrangles will not help the people of Nairobi. The group is also rooting for an adoption of revenue sharing formula that will ensure marginalized counties get larger allocations.
We still have a lot of services that are lacking, and yet we have billions being spent in corruption.
Service delivery in Nairobi City County, just like in the other 46 counties, is likely to come to a halt. That is, if the division of revenue amongst counties, settlement in not urgently resolved.
Elsewhere, a group of youth from Kitui County who work at the County Textile Center are protesting the County Assembly's move to deny the factory funds. The workers claim members of the County Assembly have not allocated funds to the textile factory and its two proposed subsidiaries in Mwingi and Mutomo towns.
Kikotek wanalia. Kuna kampuni nyingine mama alikuwa anataka kuanzisha Mutomo. Kuna nyingine ilikuwa Mwingi. Kuna nyingine iko Kirasha huko. Na yote mnapinga. Mnataka vijana tuibe ama mnataka kufanya nini?
In another development, residents of Garita village in Magarini sub-county of Kilifi County are opposing plans to set up a salt farm project on a 2,000-acre piece of land, terming it illegal and counterproductive. The locals who staged a demonstration to protest the move want the government to intervene, saying the investor was interfering with the local ecosystem by clearing the treasured mangrove forest.
Ripoti iliyotoka kwa National Lands Commission wakaweza kubaini waziwazi kwamba mwekezaji Munyu Salt alipata ardhi hii kinyume cha sheria.
And Geothermal Development Company has started drilling the third well at the Silari project in Baringo County after finalizing drilling of the second well. North Rift GDC Regional Director John Langat said the second well has started emitting steam and the discharge test is currently ongoing, paving for the construction of the third well in phase 1 of the Baringo Silali Geothermal Exploration Project.
During exploration, you'd actually, the success rate is normally 50%.
And the fact that we're opening up this place in terms of having these facilities, the infrastructure, the roads, and people getting exposed to formal employment is going to provide alternatives to cattle rustling.
In the meantime, Sokari industry in Homa Bay County is set to increase production capacity in a bid to boost the morale of sugarcane farmers. The move comes at a time when the company is experiencing overwhelming sugarcane supply.
We are having too much cane, which is beyond our crushing capacity. So for that reason, we have planned to do the expansion so that we can be able to meet the farmer demand.
Elsewhere, Bungoma County Governor Wycliffe Wafula Wangamati has called on the national government to give a solution to the water problem affecting residents of Bungoma County through tapping water from Mount Elgon. Wangamati said his government has already acquired a drilling machine which will enhance faster drilling of water for supply to various institutions within the county.
And as you all know, that level of investment, that level of infrastructure investment for a county is almost impossible. There's billions and billions of shillings. That's what we look forward to.
Finally, the government will invest 3.8 billion shillings in linking the old meter gauge railway line with the standard gauge railway at Longonot in Naivasha. Defense Chief Administrative Secretary Peter Odoyo says the work, which is scheduled to be completed in 8 months, will also involve restoring the old railway line linking Nakuru to Malaba and Nakuru to Kisumu.
We are all together in this because no country can develop on the strength of lorry cargo. How many of your relatives have been killed by this lorry cargo?
Timothy Kipnusu for Channel 1 News.
It's coming to 25 minutes past the hour. You are watching Channel 1 News Hour. We are taking another short break. We still have plenty more lined up for you. This includes business as well as sports. And keep interacting with us on our social media platforms, KBC Channel 1 on Facebook and at KBC Channel 1 on Twitter.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Nimekuja leo kwa sababu ile simu ile
kuniambia nipeleke mtoto wako. Nipelekee mtoto wako.
Una hakika?
Niko na uhakika na kazi yangu boss.
Okay, sawa, kwa sababu sasa nataka tuanze kazi.
Ondoka. Kuna kijana yule mwekundu hivi sijui shombe. Alizungumza masuala ya shamba. Alafu akavuta kando akaenda akamna kama ambaye pengine ataka
Kabla haya mambo nayo hayo tu bila shaka.
Haya ngoja namuita sasa hivi.
Tena tutakuwa
KBC, in collaboration with the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, is broadcasting enhanced out-of-class learning on radio, television and online. Catch the lessons every weekday on KBC Channel 1 from 2 to 4 p.m, on KBC English Service and 15 FM from 9:15 a.m. to 5 p.m, and Radio Taifa from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. KBC English Service, Radio Taifa and 15 FM are also available countrywide on the free-to-air Signet digital TV platform, or log on to www.kbc.co.ke for live streaming, or download the KBC online app on Google Play Store. Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, ensuring learning no matter what.
Thank you very much for keeping us company. Let us take a look at some business news now. The Kenya Union of Sugar Plantation and Allied Workers has expressed willingness to withdraw a case it filed in court challenging the privatization of five state-owned sugar mills if the union is included in the interim sugar management committee gazetted recently. Speaking during a meeting with governors from the Lake Region Economic Bloc, the Union Secretary General Francis Wangara said inclusion in the committee will ensure workers' rights are safeguarded as the mills are privatized.
Last week, the High Court temporarily stopped the process of leasing 5 state-owned sugar companies, which was ongoing until a case challenging the process filed by the Kenya Union of Sugar Plantation and Allied Workers is heard and determined. According to the Kenya Union of Sugar Plantation and Allied Workers Union, Nzoia, Chemili, Muhoroni, Miwani and Soni sugar factories still owe respective workers dues, and there's need to clear the salary arrears before the mills are released. The union wants to be gazetted and enjoined with the Interim Sugar Management Committee to safeguard employees' rights during the leasing process.
To have someone who will go there and make sure that the employees' interests are taken care and the sugar companies start crushing cane.
Lake Region leaders have assured farmers that the leasing will not open them up for exploitation, since the new management will be subjected to frequent checks and balances.
That we have proper legislation and we have proper regulation that will regulate this particular industry.
This is the best, I think, that we could ever have made in terms of solving the problem in the sugar belt. Take it from me. I don't think there's any, under our circumstances, I don't think there's any other thing that we could have done except to agree with the government the leasing process. And I think all precautions are now being taken to make sure that the process is participatory, accountable, and effective.
The process to list the 5 cash-strapped sugar mills started a fortnight ago after 29 local and foreign companies submitted their list bids to the Agriculture and Food Authority. Benson Rioba reporting for Channel 1, business.
Kenya seeks to benefit from a new market for leather, textile, plastic and rubber, processed foods and industrial sugars if the Democratic Republic of Congo is admitted to the East African Community. The DRC, which has applied to join EAC, imports goods worth 670 billion shillings annually.
Kenya exported goods worth 13 billion shillings to the Democratic Republic of Congo last year. Cigarettes were Kenya's largest export to the DRC, with tobacco processors shipping products worth 1.4 billion shillings. Kenya also exported iron products worth 1.09 billion shillings and processed foodstuffs worth 1.03 billion shillings. Oil and petroleum products valued at 813 million shillings and industrial sugar worth 674 million shillings were also shipped to the Central African nation. A report commissioned by the COMESA Business Council on the opportunities available in the DRC, which is seeking to join the East African Community, shows that there is a 25 billion shillings market demand for textile products, especially used clothing, with Kenya supplying only textiles worth 417 million shillings. The DRC imported leather products worth 168 million shillings from Kenya. The report indicates that despite the Central African nation providing a market for the East African Community member states, China is the supplier of shipping goods worth 200 billion shillings annually. Low trade volumes between the EAC member states and the DRC has been blamed on the poor infrastructure that has seen the East African Community exporting goods to the country's eastern region. This has seen Zambia exploit her supply of goods to the southern parts of the DRC, worth 95 billion shillings. EAC member states have been urged to harmonize tariffs with the DRC and develop more infrastructure to ease movement of goods in and out of the Central African nation.
The government is targeting to recruit 22,500 youth for training under the Kenya Youth Employment and Opportunities Project program that is expected to commence soon. The Principal Secretary in the State Department for Youth Affairs, Julius Korir, says the program is among initiatives by the government to create job opportunities as well as build the capacity of the youth for wealth creation. Here is our coast reporter Mburu with the details.
Kenya Youth Employment and Opportunities Project Programs has entered its fifth phase with selection of beneficiaries across 17 counties expected to commence soon. Speaking at the Bombolulu Kenya Youth Employment and Opportunities Project Center in Mombasa County, the Principal Secretary in the State Department of Youth, Julius Korir, said the program offers the youth craftsmanship and life skills to generate income.
5 months of training to acquire skills in a practical manner. And then before that, before the 5 months, they will have gone through a training of life skills. This is preparing them, giving them the mental aptitude, the attitude on how to work in a workplace.
Kwa hivyo tunaomba serikali na shirika wapate kujumuika pamoja ili fedha ziwe kwa wingi ili vijana wengi wapate kupata ujuzi.
While calling on the youth to register, Korir said the fifth phase of the program targets 22,500 youth in the 17 counties.
We are also having Cycle 5, which we are just about to enroll, and that's why we are quickly going about to make sure that the master craftsmen are ready.
After the first case of COVID-19 in Kenya was announced in March, the Kenya Youth Employment and Opportunities Project centers were closed. The centers are reopening under the strict Ministry of Health guidelines.
We want to make sure that we resume training so that KIOP can achieve its objective of giving young people the skills to work, as well as also ensuring that they are safe in the process of doing so. So this week and next week, we will be visiting all KIOP master craftsmen to assess their readiness and compliance to the Ministry of Health requirements.
For Business News from Mombasa County, I am Mburu.
Consumer brands manufacturer Pwani Oil has acquired Ushindi soap brand further boosting its presence in the personal and home care products category. The deal, which has been approved by the Competition Authority of Kenya, comes as demand for soap and hygiene products continue to rise due to COVID-19 health protocols requiring regular hand washing and disinfection to prevent the spread of the virus elsewhere. The county government of Kisumu has signed a personal protective equipment deal with the Kisumu National Polytechnic. Details of this in our corporate briefs.
There has been an increase in demand for multipurpose soap that fit into emerging consumer spending patterns and desire for a wider choice. Pwani Oil says the acquisition of Ushindi brand will see the company gain significant share of the personal and home care product markets. Its commercial director, Rajul Malde, adds that while consumption of soap and detergents has increased, disposable incomes are declining due to the negative economic impact of COVID-19, and consumers now want a product they can use for different purposes.
We need to continue to be doing business. In Kenya, we know that as Kenyans, we are resilient, we are strong, and we will overcome all the issues that the world brings to us. We've done that in the past and will continue to do that in the future. Whilst the pandemic is causing stirs in the world, in Pwani, we believe that we need to cause stirs in the Kenyan market, and indeed in the regional market of East Africa.
Meanwhile, Kisumu National Polytechnic has partnered with the county government of Kisumu to produce 3-ply surgical masks, reusable masks, and disposable fluid repellent gowns for the frontline health workers. The products, which are at various stages of certification by the Kenya Bureau of Standards, will not only help in the fight against COVID-19, but will also see the institution raise funds to run various programs. Under the deal, the county government of Kisumu will purchase the products from Kisumu National Polytechnic once they are certified.
Our production capacity for surgical masks is 1,000 masks per day. We are making them according to the regulations given or standards given by the Kenya Bureau of Standards. That means we are using polypropylene fabric, which is 25 grams per meter.
In the Applied Science Department, we are making our own sanitizers and liquid detergent that we intend not to purchase from anywhere when schools reopen.
In other matters, players in the tourism sector will start receiving the 3 billion shilling stimulus package in the next 2 weeks. Tourism Finance Corporation Director Jonah Orumoy says all modalities have been put in place in readiness for the disbursement of the cash.
The hospitality industry has borne the brunt of the COVID-19 pandemic, with guests postponing traveling plans. Revenue by the hotel industry in Kenya is projected to drop by 60%. In measures aimed at reviving the ailing sector, President Uhuru Kenyatta announced a 3 billion shilling stimulus package to the hospitality industry. The Tourism Finance Corporation says the cash should be disbursed from next month.
The stimulus package actually will be open mainly for hotels, and also at the same time, as mentioned earlier, we are working together with other state agencies to be able to see how we can bring up small and medium-sized supports to the sector, because the sector obviously has been high.
The funds that are payable in 10 years will attract an interest of 5%.
Time we are offering business advisory services to the sector, and those people who think they need some help in terms of turning around their business, in terms of being able to restructure their business, they can come to us.
The funds are expected to mitigate against job losses that have been witnessed in the sector.
What the Ministry of Tourism is doing, and all the other stakeholders who are concerned, what we know is we cannot get all that we need. One, because we are very many of us, and not everyone can get. But what the government has given, they've told us how we can apply for this stimulus package.
Hotels and lodges have been asked to come up with packages tailored for domestic tourists.
As you know, we cannot rely anymore on our international guests, neither even the regional guests. So we have been in touch with our hotels, and you can already see how they are marketing in social media, TV, and all those media, so that people get to know what Kenya has to offer.
The Tourism Finance Corporation will also disburse part of the cash to SMEs in the tourism sector. Benson Riopa reporting for Channel 1 Business.
on the next episode of Corner.
Na ndio ifanyike, tunahitaji 10,000 ya kuwasafirisha wazazi.
Ati 10,000? Wewe unataka kuleta kijiji yote hapa?
Kama watu wetu hawakuji, hakuna mkutano.
Na nini bana hiyo?
Umesema nini?
Umenisikia? Hii ni bure yangu.
Nimekubali.
I'll think about it. You know Connor needs this. I told you. I'll think about it. You don't always have to be difficult when it comes to Angela. It's getting old.
People gonna say all kind of things about you. We them on.
When your booty got show me now.
Baby, one time. Bossy baby, give me 2 times. Full 180. Crazy. Let's go.
Ha. I needed some with some bopping. Mamacita, where you at? I've been trying to reach you.
Choro, 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 choro. Get the pago, get the party more, get the pago. Katoto shepu awe, ayawe, ayawe.
Tekenya katoto, kamini tekenya, tekenya.
This weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Where can bullets go? Thinking about that bullet that came through your window?
What's wrong? You all right?
I am angry all the time, and I don't know why.
Hands in plain sight, step out of the vehicle. Honey, stay inside. Man, don't walk up on me. I know this man. Get back.
You think you know who you are? You have no idea.
You had a conversation with God, huh? What did God say?
I didn't ask for your help, did I?
It's okay, Daddy. I'll protect you. It's the sense of touch. I think we miss that touch so much that we crash into each other just so we can feel something.
Time for sport. A 12-team tournament that will bring together teams from host Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Nepal and India, Simba Premier League, has been launched and will be played between the 10th to 19th September. This is according to the tournament director Thomas Doyo, who says the championship whose fixtures has been modeled along the franchise format aspires to expose Kenyan players to international levels. The tournament, whose attendance is pegged at 100, will be held at Simba Union and Waraka Sports Clubs in Nairobi. The winner will walk away with 300,000 Kenyan shillings, while first runners-up will be awarded 150,000 Kenyan shillings.
Nowadays, we used to interact with the top players from other countries, and I think for us this is an opportunity for our players to interact with the top players from other countries, because we are inviting ex-internationals from test-playing countries, full member countries. So I think with that experience, the players will always get the necessary exposure that they need. It's not really urgency, it's something that has not been done, and it's not being done enough. I think we know the board has been trying, but probably lack of funds and all that. It's not that easy, it's not cheap to be doing. So we are more or less complementing the efforts of the board. Because the board have been doing their part, and we just complementing their efforts by trying to bring cricket in the country.
Hii group yetu na youngsters tuna combine together. Older people are not performing really. Let the youngsters come in, because they're the ones who are suffering a lot. Because with the youngsters, they don't even ask for money, they don't ask for anything, they just want to play. And by playing, that's when you develop things to happen. Yes.
Let's talk about football now, where Sofa Parker has announced the signing of Mathare United midfielder Roy Okal and goalkeeper Kevin Omondi from league rivals Wazito. The duo has both signed a deal with the 2009 champions that will see them stay at the club for the next 2 years.
Okal, aged 24, a former product of Lisa Hill High School who caught the eyes of many league clubs when he represented his school at the national championships, is seen as a direct replacement of Sisidi Karik Okeyo, whose contract with Sofapaka elapsed and he landed an opportunity in the Middle East. Okal, who apart from playing for Mathare United, has also had stints with Ushuru and the Greek lower league side, can play both as defensive or offensive midfielder. Omondi, on the other hand, will be replacing Uganda national Nicolas Sebwato, who parted ways with Sofapaka after his contract ran out, but he has to fight for the first team position against Richard Aimo and Isaiah Wakasala. Omondi, who arrives from Big Spenders Wazito, previously had a stint with Sony Sugar. The signings have been confirmed weeks after betting firm Betika extended its sponsorship of the club by a further 2 years. Frederick Mwoki for Channel 1 Sports.
And to some international football, where Paris Saint-Germain are through to the first UEFA Champions League final after a 3-0 victory over RB Leipzig in an entertaining semi-final match played in Lisbon on Tuesday night. PSG seized their opportunity courtesy of goals from Marquinhos, Angel Di Maria and Juan Bernal. PSG will find out who they face in Sunday's final when five-time winners Bayern Munich play Lyon in the other semi-final tonight. PSG will be the fifth different French side to appear in a European Cup or Champions League final and the first since Monaco 2003-2004. No side has ever scored in more consecutive matches in major UEFA competitions than PSG's current run of 34, that is level with Real Madrid between 2011 and 2014 in the Champions League. The last side to stop the Parisians scoring were Manchester City back in a 1-0 win in April 2016. That does it for us for this edition of Channel 1 News Hour. The Rev is coming up after this broadcast of news. And of course, in the words of Bob Marley, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. No one but us can free our minds. Those are some of the tunes that you can stay up and listen to as you enjoy your night away. My name is Edward Kabasa. The weather forecast is coming up next, and of course the weatherman is focusing that more rains are expected, especially in the city. Today it did rain, so you should expect some tomorrow as well. Byron Abuli has been our sign language interpreter tonight. Have yourself a very wonderful night ahead.
Thank you, Kabasa, and many thanks to you for your time. This is Channel 1 Weather Updates. A very warm welcome. My name is Irene Mchuma Odem. Tonight, there are showers accompanied by thunderstorms in the county of Baringo. There are scattered wet conditions in Nairobi and Central Highlands. The rest of the country has been covered with partly cloudy conditions, and tonight, Narok County is the coldest. Temperatures stand at 13 degrees Celsius. If you have plans to be in the capital within the next 5 days, this should be your expectations. Scattered wet conditions. The highest temperatures across the county will stand at 26 degrees Celsius, and it will mainly be sunny on Sunday. But then, if you have plans to move at the coastal strip or you are in Mombasa, Friday would be ideal for you to spend the day by the beach and also engage in outdoor activities. Temperatures will stand at 30 degrees Celsius, and it will mainly be sunny. The rest of the days will experience scattered wet conditions. But then let's find out what it will be the weather like tomorrow for us in the capital and across the country. It will rain in Nairobi, Central Highlands, Meru and Nyeri during the morning hours, just like what we experienced today before short sun intervals take place. The northeastern parts of the country will mainly experience sunny conditions. There will be scattered wet conditions in Mombasa, Malindi, and Lamu. There will be rains in Kisumu and Kisii during the early morning hours. The northwestern parts of the country will mainly be sunny, but then these will change during the afternoon hours. There will be showers accompanied by thunderstorms in areas around Turkana, Lodwar, and Samburu, and also the western parts of the country and the Lake Basin region. The coastal strip will experience scattered wet conditions, and for you in Nairobi, Meru, and Nyeri, there will be showers during the afternoon hours, though temperatures have slightly gone up. In the capital, you are expecting highs of 24 degrees Celsius. Temperatures have also gone up in Mandera. There will be highs of 35 degrees Celsius. That is how weather is shaping up in the home country. Let's now cross the borders and have a look at the international forecast. Do have a good night and be blessed.